Hello and welcome back. This is day 5, and this is Lessons Learned from Sherlock, as in Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, that Sherlock. And, a good friend of mine introduced me to the Sherlock Holmes stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle many years ago. In fact, I like to tell people that Clay introduced me to two great pieces of literature, the Bible and the Sherlock Holmes stories. Not that those two things are on the same level. They're not. Very, very different. It just so happens that he introduced me to both of these works. And with Sherlock, it's just stayed with me. I mean, ever since my early 20s, I've just read and enjoyed these stories and come back to them again and again. I've read them. I read them to my son. I've used them to teach logic classes. And, I just get a lot of pleasure and enjoyment out of reading them. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's a big part of what life is all about. But as I was thinking about it, there's actually some lessons in there too. Sherlock really packs a punch. So, for example, I think in the Sherlock Holmes stories, we see that life is all about solid partnerships. It's all about partnerships. So, I mean, we all know it's not just Sherlock Holmes, but it's Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. It's Watson and Holmes. And if one of those, they're a partnership, they work together, and that's what makes the stories so amazing. That's where the chemistry is. If you take away Watson, it's just not the same. In fact, there are a couple of the stories where Watson is absent, and it's just not the same. Um, you need both. And this is true in life. Partnerships make all the difference. And that's true when it comes to your marriage, which is like, the ultimate partnership for many of us. It's true in business, business partnerships. That's just some powerful chemistry right there. It might be an accountability partner in some other aspect of your life. But so often when we try to do something alone, it doesn't work so well. But when you partner with the right person, the sparks really start to fly. And you see that right there in Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes stories. Another lesson we see is, the value of knowing your primary gift and then just pursuing it with a singular focus. Take Sherlock. He knows what his main gift is. He's a reasoning machine, and he specifically uses it to fight crime. That's who he is, that's what he does, and it just makes him unstoppable. He doesn't pretend to be a ladies' man. He doesn't take his intellect and use it for 500 different things. He's not distracted from his focus at all. So he knows his gift and he uses it in that focused way. And wow, that is a real lesson in life. You know, the people who know what their primary gifting is, like their main contribution they can make to the world, their superpower, as people often call it today. If you know what that is and you build your life around that and you don't allow yourself to get distracted, you can really accomplish a lot in this life and make a big impact. Um, and those of us who aren't as good at that, there's a real price that you pay. And I could say more, and maybe I will come back to this in a few days, but those are two of the lessons that I find in the Sherlock Holmes stories, in addition to just the sheer enjoyment of reading them. So thank you, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, for writing the stories. Thank you, my friend, for introducing me to Sherlock Holmes many years ago. And thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow.